Hi guys, my name's Ellie, welcome to my channel, and things are different, as you can see. I am going to say this in all of them just because I don't know what order I'm going to put these up in. I am doing 3 videos. Yes, they're all the same day. They'll be fine. I reorganized my room, so this is technically the same space I've been filming in, but things are moved around. I like it. I have a chair now, like a proper chair, as opposed to just sitting on like a ottoman. And I have more space. But that's not why you're here today. You're here because there is some type of video that you're potentially interested in watching, which is my, let me see, I think I did 5 or 6. I have extras, so top 5 office appropriate and or basic bitch palettes. Theresa is Dead and Spooky Lips and Fat Hips did a collaboration where they did their top 5 basic bitch palettes, which if you have been in the makeup community or the beauty community in general, you'll notice that there's been a trend towards like bright, colorful, unique, you know, more out there, less approachable makeup, which is honestly not what a lot of people wear day to day. A lot of people have restrictions on what they can and can't wear, what they aren't comfortable wearing. I work in an office, so I do have some restrictions on what I can wear to work and or what I think my coworkers would accept. We're pretty casual, but also if I showed up with like lime green face paint, people would notice because I do not work direct face-to-face with patients, but the dress code does still apply to our department. So I thought, since I'm not fancy, they don't know who I am, but I was feeling inspired. I should have their videos linked down below. I wanted to talk about some of my not wearable. We don't like the word wearable because everything you can put on your face is wearable, but approachable, unintimidating, office-appropriate things that you can get a really nice look out of, that you can wear, you know, 9 to 5 in an office environment and feel confident and good in your look, but also not like you're going to scare anybody, because some people really do get very weird about bright colored makeup. A lot of people in my office either don't wear makeup and or are a little bit more conservative. They're a generation above. They're not like this. I wear this to work, and even then I haven't gotten a negative comments, but sometimes you can kind of tell people are like, oh, you have a facial piercing, which I don't care. I like it. I think it's awesome, but it is kind of a shocking thing for some people. So now that we've gone over the fact that some people are judgy, let's talk about my top office appropriate, wear to work, 9 to 5, dress code appropriate palettes. I do have extras, so we're gonna start. I tried to get, I told myself I was getting a range, and I didn't get a range, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna have like multiple price ranges. I didn't do that. I didn't do that at all. Oh, so this is one I like a lot. This is the Bobbi Brown infrared eyeshadow palette. I'm also realizing that I intended to get ones that are all currently for sale, that aren't like limited edition. I don't remember if this one's still up, but this one did also have an ultraviolet one, which I don't have, but I was also interested in, that should have similar. This packaging is really cool, very awesome. The inside is super basic. If you want a warm, bronzy look, you got it. You can do it a couple different ways, but you're really, like, nobody's gonna look at this color story and be intimidated. You do have a little bit of, which one's the duochrome? I think it's this guy in the corner, which is, I don't know if I can show you. Probably not. It's kind of like a bronzy red to like a peachy gold shift. Like, it is really, really nice. You've got a gold, you've got a mid-tone bronze, You've got kind of a lighter champagne, a really light highlight. You've got two mattes. You've got a base shade, and or if you're a deeper skin tone, you have a matte highlight. If you're a very light skin tone, you have a blending transition-y type color. You've got one that is a duochrome, but is still a very approachable, you know how to work with that. You know how to work with warm neutrals, and this is really great. You can do quite a few looks. The formula is fantastic. It's very easy. This is a very quick type palette, and it does have a very nice formula. It's got a big old mirror. It's very, like, if you need to do your makeup on like a train or during your commute, or if you like get to work 10 minutes early and want to chuck something on, you can travel with this pretty easily. So I like that one. I also was hoping to get these a little bit more versatile. So I'm going to take this one up. This is the Tarte Artist Pro. This is another one that it's just not very intimidating. These are warm with a little bit of cool. You can mix and match. You have some lid colors. You can do a matte look. You can do a matte and shimmer look. You do have, again, a duochrome, but a very approachable duochrome that you can wear and have a little extra going on, but not really have anybody be like, oh, what is on your face? Because they're going to think it's really cool looking. It's something that a lot of people have already seen, but isn't a nice formula. All of these have been really nice formulas that have worked really well for me. You've got your bronze, your gold, your champagne. You've got a lot of variety of mattes. You can do them across the line. You can mix and match. You've got a lot. You've got a huge mirror. This is, again, a really good one and done. Pull it out, do a quick look. You're good to go. Nobody's going to pick up on this and be like, does your makeup match the dress code? No. Very good. A lot of options. I should have made notes. I had a whole plan to like make notes so that it's less rambly and I was like more direct and to the point. Did not do that. So I'm gonna, no. The next one is not what everybody would really think when they think go-to palette. This one is something that you very well might want to bring something to play with, but for all of the warm, swampy mattes that have been a huge selling point for palettes for the last like year plus, your Subculture, your Gemini palette, varieties of that type. You got a mustard, you got some warm neutrals, you got some greens, you got some blues and purples, you got some browns, darker brown. If you have wanted one of those palettes over the last couple of years and been like, ooh, that mustard, ooh, that pumpkin orange, or ooh, that olive swampy green, you got it. Once you have this and a couple golds, maybe a bronze, you really don't need most of those palettes. Most of the draw of those palettes is the one or two, swampy mattes. And this is all of that. This is the Visiart 04 Dark Matte Palette. These are fantastic. You can do some really gorgeous matte looks. And these are a little unconventional. That's why those palettes were selling so well, is because people really hadn't had that much access to mustards and olive greens and stuff like that in a nice quality. Like, they popped up here and there in indie brands, but not everybody knows about indie brands. Not everybody knows how to buy from indie brands. This hits all your marks. These are colors that you can wear to work. You can match the seasons. You can go cooler, warmer. And this, again, are things that are going to be a little less conventional, but really not the same as showing up with, like, a bright blue eye look. These are things that you can do a little bit of fun, but still not really have to worry about people being like, oh, what you wearing there? They'll be like, ooh, what is that? So this plus like any of your neutral palettes, you've got everything you need. You don't then need to follow up and buy a million ones because, oh, well, this one has a mustard. Well, this one has the pumpkin I've been looking for. This one has the olive green. This one has like a nice jewel tone purple, because these all play really well together. They make fantastic matte looks. They also make fantastic bases to throw a neutral shimmer on and just go. So if you want to get in on the trend of those grungier, swampier colors, but you also don't really want any specific palette because not all of them potentially have all of what you want, and you do have some neutral palettes, you can dupe most of them by adding in this nice assortment of mattes. And now, the most basic of basic bitch palettes, the Modern Renaissance. This one, let me get the brush out. This one was super popular for a reason. It's really, really nice. It's not as groundbreaking as it was when it first came out, but these colors work really, really well together. You can go more neutral, you can go more red. You have a couple shimmers to kind of like pop it here and there, but you can also use these mattes all on your own. These are, again, colors that you're not going to get like weird reactions from your coworkers from, which I keep saying that because I've been somebody who've also worked in an office environment that didn't have a dress code, and that allowed me to wear all sorts of weird shit on my face, whatever color combination I wanted, and I did get some reactions from my coworkers who were not as into colorful makeup being like, what is happening? What is going on? Which, that's kind of what I'm attempting to avoid at my new company that does have a dress code that does say business professional type situations. This palette is going to do really, really well for those situations if you want that. If you're like, oh, I want a color, but I also don't want it to be too bright, but I also don't want it to be just like brown. You've got like nice warm tones, you've got the reds, you've got the orange, you've got the browns, you've got the shimmers that you can toss on the top. This one works really, really well. It is like the palette that everybody raved about because it's a nice quality. It is a really nice quality formula. It is a nice color story. It does have a lot of ways you can mix and match, and it's approachable color. It is color that you can pick it up and be like, the most you're probably going to be a little surprised about are those, which end up working really, really well together. I like them a lot with Bone Fresco and Vermeer, but again, Primavera, like mixing it together, like you can play a lot of games with this palette and find variations to not get bored in your day-to-day makeup, but also not feel like you're pushing the line too much and might get a talking to from your supervisor about staying within the dress code. I really like this one. I do have extra affection for it because it was a gift from my boyfriend. And then I did want to also add in some indie brands. They kind of do a very similar thing. So this is from Ignace Cosmetics. This is the Cozy Cabin eyeshadow palette. Let me get it open. This kind of hits a lot of what people have been pushing in the warms. It's got like a pumpkin orange. I think that one is called, yeah, it's called Pumpkin Pie Cheesecake. But then you also have the purples. You have like a light champagne-y gold shimmer. You've got a darker purple. You can do a purple look. You can do just a warm, easy, neutral look. You can mix them together. They play really, really well together. I believe I bought this on Etsy because you have to buy directly from the company itself in order to get this type of a brand. At least as far as I know, I didn't find this for sale anywhere else. This is also, like, it doesn't have a mirror, but you could easily pop one in there if you wanted to. It's slightly reflective, but like not close enough to do that. This is something that if you do have to do travel makeup, or you have to do your makeup on the way to work or on your breaks at work, something like that, where you just don't have the time to sit down and do it at home, traveling with this is very, very easy. It's super compact. It's all that you really should need in a look, unless you use a base matte color like I do, which throw a single in your palette, in your makeup bag, you're fine. You can also, if I can get it open. The only problem I have is getting this palette open. There's not a really good way to like grip it, since it is such a tiny little ridge. But I've had good luck in the past. Every once in a while it fights me. But yeah, you can also double that up as a highlight. It works really, really well. Like, it's a really gorgeous. Told myself I wasn't gonna swatch a bunch of things, but it's really, really nice. I do really like this palette. I have one other from them that doesn't really fall into this category of super close office makeup, but I do want to use these more because they are very nice, good quality, indie brand. You're buying for somebody, hand-painted little cute packaging. I like it. I like how compact and to the point it is, and how much it just hits what it wants to do and just does it. It's cozy makeup. It is fall makeup. It is the oranges and purples that everybody was going crazy about in exactly what you wanted to do that. And you can make a lot of great looks out of that palette. Then we have, ta-da, Queen of Hearts from Colored Raine. This is another indie brand, but this is something that I believe you can potentially get at places like Ulta. I didn't look that up. I should have looked that up. But this, again, is a palette that everybody went super crazy for, but is still very approachable. Like, you do have these two that kind of pop out as brighter colors, but most of us have seen these oranges and these types of purples and know how well they make a gorgeous look. I'm trying to find a way that doesn't blind you with the reflection of the packaging, but you got it all. You got the mauve, the purples to do like cool looks, you've got the orange, you've got the easier brown if you want to just stay more neutral. You can do these darkers as pops. Noblewoman is actually really, really gorgeous as like a main lid look, just blended out with that. You've got a little highlighter. Like, you've got a lot of options in this palette, all of which play well together, all of which are generally going to fall on, like, unless you're going really, really crazy and like just throwing, honestly, even that all over the lid would look really, really nice and probably wouldn't be something too shocking for your coworkers. It's very approachable. It's very easy to mix and match and like look at and be like, oh, I want the gold today, or I want just like the bronze. I just want, you can look at this and immediately know what you want that day, and if you don't, you can put a really easy standard look together and figure it out the next time you're looking at your makeup. You can do a lot of office appropriate, very good, very pretty looks without worrying about crossing over that line that is different depending on your coworkers. I don't see anybody saying that this is too much for the office. So those are my picks. I kept these together because they're both indie and because depending on how much you want, you can kind of get the same thing out of both. Like, you get the purples in both, you get the orange in both, you get the gold in both, depending on whether you want just a couple of them or you want like a whole big, more detailed color story. These kind of count as two sides of the same thing for me. This one is a deeper, more vibrant color story than this, because this is, from what I know, aimed towards people of color who take a little bit more pigment for things to show up on their skin. So that can be very helpful. Now, I do also have my honorable mentions, because when I saw the notifications go up for the videos from Theresa is Dead and Smoky Lips and Fat Hips. Is that right? My brain's trying to tell me it's backwards and it's Smoky Hips and Fat Lips. I don't think that's right. I think we're just remembering that I'm not done with my coffee yet. I brought it here so I could like make a whole thing about how I'm remembering to drink coffee on the weekends, which I always forget because I make it at work. And I get to use this mug, which I can't take to work. And then I forgot to mention it until now. But it's not cold yet, so we're good. When those notifications went up, I did have two immediate thoughts of like, these two palettes. And then they each did one of them, so I felt kind of silly using up 2 of my 5 on things that were in the videos that inspired me to make this video. So, let's talk about them. I believe this one was Theresa is Dead. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette. If I can get it open without breaking a nail. This is a really great color story for the office. Even like this pink. Like, that might be what some people look at and say, oh, that's not office appropriate. No, you can definitely do this. I've worn these. It does not end up as bright on the lid. Like, if you take that with the purple, with the thing, like, you end up with, sorry, I'm trying to like show you, like, it ends up significantly less impactful, which is unfortunate if you were going into that palette for the pink, but if you were going in for, I want something I can wear to work, I can get a lot of different, but kind of mid-range, office appropriate, fun, but more neutral looks. This is fantastic. You've got a huge base color. If you're like me and you like a matte, very light base before going in and blending, you've got that. You've got a huge gold. I love that gold. That is a more fun gold. Like, the yellow tones are great. This being like a swampy olive green metallic, fantastic. I love this palette. If I had less makeup, this is the type of palette that I would pick up and wear day in and day out until I panned it, but I don't have as much time to devote to my makeup as I wish. But I also don't really want to get rid of anything right now, so we're not going to complain too much. This is something you could buy, you could wear it until it all's gone and be very happy all the way through. You've got coppery oranges, you've got golds of various tones, you've got greens, you've got lighter, like taupey shades, you've got a silver. You've got so much in this palette to mix and match that are all going to make really great office appropriate looks that are going to be nice but not scare people, because I guess we're on the not scare people train right now. I love this palette. I really think they did a great job on the color story and making it fun and pretty, but also not intimidating for people who might not wear as much color and or don't have the option to wear as much color day to day. Which I just realized I don't really wear makeup right now. Not like I don't wear makeup, like I'm still adjusting to getting up in the morning. We are on the 8th month of working for the company that changed my start time up to 7:30 in the morning, and I'm still not, like, I'm getting to work, I'm just not getting up with enough time to do a full face of makeup every day. So we're still working on that, because I like my sleep, and I'm really bad at, like, maintaining a go to bed at the same time thing. So I want to wear makeup every day. I like to sleep, though. The other one, this was from Smoky Lips Fat Hips. This is the Natasha Denona Gold palette, and it is fucking gorgeous. So if you want a little something extra, I'm trying to think of what's the best way to do this. This is a really nice color story. It is very neutral, as you can see. It's golds and browns with a pop of, you know, like mint and teal, and like, it's fantastic. You would think that this would be too much. This would be too many golds, but they have different depths, different finishes, different undertones, different textures. Like, you've got things that are really, really chunky and flaky. You've got things that are really, really, like, finely milled and soft. Like, it's really, really well done. You've got the mattes, which I love Natasha Denona's mattes. They're some of my favorite ever. And they're doing slightly different things. These two look very similar, but they do perform a little differently on the eyes, because Natasha Denona mattes do kind of deepen on application. Like, this is going to end up a bit more camel. This is going to end up a little bit more brown. They go on, and then as you're blending, they seem to just darken, which I like. I like that. I like that you can get a more dimensional look out of it that way, in that, like, it ends up looking like you put two shadows on and then blended them really nicely, as opposed to just, like, taking one that's, like, darker and then, like, edges out really gorgeously. Need more coffee. So this is one of those things where it's really kind of back and forth on whether or not I should recommend it, because it is expensive. This is not a everybody can go out and buy type palette, but most of my makeup is not that way. I got this as a gift from my partner because I asked for it, because I wanted it, and it's gorgeous. If I was somebody who was taking meetings with clients, going out there trying to, I don't know, be like the face of the company, and talking to the people that purchase our services on the bigger scale, like people who buy in and buy our services as a PBM, Pharmacy Benefits Manager, this is the type of makeup I would want to wear. This shows that it's gorgeous, it's neutral, but it's also something else. It has a bit more texture and dimension and sparkle. Like, there's just something extra when I make a look out of this. Like, I could use the exact same gold tone from a different palette and not have the same application, not have the same just oomph out of this palette. It is something extra, and I do appreciate that if I'm gonna spend or ask somebody else to buy me, because I'm at the point now where if I wanted to Natasha Denona palette, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna save up for it, I'm gonna make it like a special thing, but I'm confident spending the money on her quality at this point. And this is what I want to get for it. I want gorgeous, well thought out, different options. And this makes some really, really nice looks that are different, that do have different shifts and tones and amounts of glitter versus sparkle versus shimmer versus just like sheen. And it really does give you that little extra something versus other goldy, matte, warm brown looks. This gives me something extra and I love it. So, if you want something that is office appropriate, but also kind of makes you feel like a boss, like this is like CEO makeup. This is, I'm the head of my department, or I'm going into a meeting and I need to show that I know my shit, but I also want to like feel pretty and like look like I did my makeup. That's what I'd wear. If I was having to present something in a meeting at my work, I'm wearing this shit. Because it will look like I really know what I'm doing, like I put a lot of effort into my appearance, and it will show. It will show a level of skill and detail that you might have and use in other looks, but just really shines with that type of a package. Product, yeah. Like the packaging shines as well, but because I can see it down there. Yeah, it's really back and forth in that I love the formula. I love the color stories. They end up, like, you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, it's gold, it's nice, and then you start using it, you're like, oh, I see how much effort you put into picking these and mixing these colors. It's not just you threw some golds and browns in a palette, and it's like, and a pop of teal. It's a very well thought out color story, and I've had that same experience with the Lila palette, in that it looks nice, you get it, and you're like, oh, these are something else. These are something special. So I love it, but also it's hard to say, ooh, yeah, go get it, when it's over $100 for a palette. And there are people who can't even really put in the effort, or don't have the money, don't have the means to buy that. So it's hard to say, yes, this is worth it, when everybody's finances are different. It might not, there might be no amount of quality that makes that worth it for some people. And so I like it. I'm glad I have it. If it's within your means and you will really use it, get it. It will make you happy. But if you don't have the means, throw some golds on. You're still gonna have a good time. So that's it for this video. That's half an hour of me ranting. Yeah. I really like these. If I was ever gonna trim down my collection and just go to what I'd wear day in, day out, it would be some of these. It would be one or two of these, and I'd be very happy and make a lot of really gorgeous looks that all fit my dress code, fit working in an office type aesthetic, and still allow me to have some fun and mix and match. So, if you haven't already, go watch Theresa and, I know her name, Lacey. It's like Spooky. Her name's Spooky. No, Lacey. Theresa and Lacey. They're fantastic, whether you watch that collab they did together or just most of their stuff. Theresa does a lot of fantastic reviews. Most of her stuff is either stuff I'm not gonna buy and or stuff I was like, maybe. And then she buys it and I get to see some looks she does, her wear tests, stuff like that. She does a great job, and she has fantastic coworker stories. I have coworker stories, but I also don't know if they're ever going to find this, so I'm not going to do sassy coworker stories, because I've had coworkers find my makeup channel in the past, and I'm like, shit, did I say anything nasty? Because you never know. The gripes you have with your coworkers, they can be something that, really matters that day, and, 2 months down the road doesn't matter anymore, but, in that moment, you really were in the moment, and you never know when you're going to say something and have it be a thing, so Like, if Bob finds Theresa's makeup channel, which is unlikely, he's gonna learn a lot about how she feels about him. But based on her portrayal of him, he might not notice that that's not a good thing. And Lacey does a lot of really great, just great things. They both do videos that I watch. I'm really not watching a ton of beauty videos anymore. I'm watching Theresa, Lacey, and Kat and Haley. It's rare that I watch somebody else right now because I'm like most people, I'm getting burnt out on the beauty community. Less burnt out on makeup. Like, I still like makeup. I like what I have. I'm trying to buy less. And so, as you get further into it, what people put in their reviews, what people talk about, and how often they use their makeup really kind of stands out for you. And Theresa and Lacey are making interesting purchases. Kat and Haley are doing good things with their channels as well. So, go check them all out. Have some fun. Let them know your favorite basic bitch palettes. Let me know your favorite work palettes. Do you have a dress code at work? And if so, what is it? Because I've worked with and without a dress code, and there are pros to both. Like, I had a lot of fun wearing whatever the fuck I wanted on my face at the job I had where I didn't have a dress code. But I also then ended up, because I was younger, trying to, like, I could show up in yoga pants and a t-shirt. I generally wasn't. Or I was doing, like, a solid colored t-shirt and, like, some layering pieces because I was one of the youngest people in the office and I wanted to be taken seriously, which was not happening all the time. And now that I work in an office with a dress code, it's kind of interesting seeing how everybody interprets it, because there's things where I'm like, oh yeah, this means this. But maybe, technically. And it has kind of prompted me to do some different things with my wardrobe, which I might not have bought if I didn't have a dress code, that I not really like. So, I don't know. And it's interesting having things that I wear to work, things that are like, there's pros and cons. Let me know. How many of you guys, like, have a dress code? And what is your dress code? Thank you all for watching. I'm gonna leave because my thing's telling me that I'm running out of space, and it very well might have already cut this in an inopportune time, so there might be a weird gap, and I apologize for that. But I appreciate you guys coming to my channel and watching, and I'm gonna do my best to make more and better content. Because I'm making 3 videos today. 3. Hopefully they will all end up edited and on my channel. I'll see you guys next time.